Question number 8 was done yesterday. Yes, we attended. How to calculate each and every ratio now it is very important, particularly about the liquidity ratio is important. So, Priya, how will you find solvency ratio? Formula? Net worth upon total assets, and both are directly available. Okay, both of them are directly available. So let us find the net worth ratio. Give the heading. Financial management ratios. Okay, income statement and balance sheet is done. Now we are finding financial management ratios. In that, first is solvency ratio. For that, no calculation or working is required because net worth is also directly available and assets are also directly available. So first one, solvency ratio, and comment is not asked. Okay, unnecessarily don't comment on that. When asked, then only it will be done. Net worth upon total assets. See yesterday's balance sheet. What was the net worth we obtained? 19,82,000 divided by what were the total assets we obtained? 32,76,000. 0.61, or if you write in percentage terms, then 61%. Any confusion in this? Now, second is liquid ratio. Now be attended. Liquid ratio, what is the formula? Liquid assets upon current liabilities. Okay. What are liquid assets? In the balance sheet, you can see liquid assets are? Yes, but total is already done. We have written them in inner column. So what are the liquid assets in all? 8,71,000. We don't have to do any further calculations. And what are current liabilities? No, they are not 4,000. I told you earlier also, if you remember, that current liabilities will also include the long-term loans which become due in the next 12 months. So now we have to first find that. For example, if you see in the question, 3 loans were there in the first table. What was car loan in the beginning? 3,60,000. At the end, 2,40,000. Means how much did we repay last year? 120. We assume that the repayment every year remains same. So again in the next 12 months what we are going to repay? 120. Okay. But directly don't take the difference. Like here 360 minus 240 it comes. So we can assume 240 is pending, means we are going to pay 120 for the next 2 more years. But suppose it was not 360 minus 240, suppose it was, let us say, 2,80,000. Opening is 2 lakhs, closing is 80,000 only. So 2 lakhs minus 80, how much did we pay last year? 120. Now don't take 120 as your current liability because loan itself, how much is pending? 80,000. So you're not going to pay more than 80,000 in the coming year. In that situation, it would come only 80,000. Means the loan will not take full 12 months EMI. It will be over in between the year itself. Okay, like here, 360 minus 240. What amount did we pay last year? 120. How much is still outstanding? 240. So again 120 we are going to pay whole in the next year. But if the loan outstanding itself is less than 120, then would you pay 120 in the coming year? Like for example, loan outstanding itself is 80,000. Then you will not pay 120, then you will pay only 80,000. Raise your hand who did not understand this aspect what I explained right now. See, one situation is opening is 360, closing is 240. Another situation I am giving you, opening balance is 2 lakhs and closing balance is 80,000. How much did you repay in the last year in both the situations? 360 minus 240, 120, 200 minus 180, 120. We assume that last year if we repaid 120, next 12 months again we will repay 120. So that 120 is our current liability. Here again, last year we repaid 120, so next 12 months again we will repay 120. But why will you repay 120? Pending is only 80,000. So you in the next year are not going to repay 120, you are going to repay only 80,000, the pending loan. So in this situation your current liability would be 80,000. In this situation your current liability is 120. Did everyone understand the difference now? Okay. So loan outstanding amount is to be seen. Here it means full 12 months we have to pay, and here it means we don't have to pay full 12 months. The loan will get over in between the year itself. As soon like 120 means 10,000 every month. Here in 8 months the loan EMIs will get over. 8 months we'll pay 10,000 into 80,000 and our loan balance will get over. This is the last period of tenure. Did you understand this? Any confusions? Further, education loan, what is opening? 2 lakhs. Closing? 150. How much did we pay last year? 50,000. So pending is 150 means still we will pay 50,000 in the next year or not? Yes. Compare it with the closing, okay? Home loan, what is opening? 10 lakhs. Closing? 9 lakhs. How much did we pay last year? 1 lakh. And 9 lakh is still pending means again 1 lakh will pay in the next year. So these 3 amounts will also be included in current liabilities. Okay. Your solvency ratio cannot be compared 8,71,000 with only 4,000. And you cannot say 200 times your solvency ratio. Okay. So liquidity ratio. So first we find the current liabilities. Write down. Current liabilities as per the balance sheet are 4,000. Do you all get it? And current liabilities, remember, will always include the loan payments in the next 12 months. So plus, first one is car loan annual installment. $1,20,000. I hope everyone is clear of 120 is obtained. Plus education loan annual installment $50,000 plus home loan annual installment 1 lakh. So 1, 2, 220, 74. 2,74,000 we will take as current liabilities. Total. Did everyone understand this? And now we'll find the liquid ratio. Therefore, liquid ratio is equal to liquid assets upon current liabilities What are liquid assets? 8,71,000 upon current liabilities 2,74,000. So 3 point. Yes. 1.8. Is everyone clear with this portion? Then after liquid ratio, which is the next one to be obtained? Savings ratio. Real savings ratio, what is the formula? Anjali? Cash surplus divided by income after tax. Now all of you look at your income statement. What is the cash surplus? 6,51,000. Do you all find it or not, everyone? So cash surplus 6,51,000 will take final amount, okay, after investments, and divided by income after tax. What is your total income? 17,55,000. In the expenses, what is the tax paid? 12,000. In the expenses, what is the tax paid? 12,000. Inside the expenses, you will find it. So what will be your income after tax? 1755 minus 12,000, 17,43,000. So first we'll find income after tax, then we'll apply the formula. Cash surplus is directly available, but we will find income after tax. So write down. Savings ratio total income or gross income is 17,55,000 minus tax paid is 12,000. So 17,43,000 is income after tax. Okay. Therefore, savings ratio is equal to cash surplus divided by income after tax. Cash surplus is 16 lakh 51,000, 6 lakh 51,000, 6 lakh 51,000 divided by income after tax 17 lakh 43,000. So 0.37 or 37%. 37% of your income you are able to save. That's a good proportion. Okay, 37% of your income goes into your savings. Any confusion in this? Now, last one. Shalini, debt service ratio, what is the formula? Maida? Monthly loan payments divided by gross monthly income. See, these are the annual loan payments we already have. Okay, these are the annual loan payments we already have, 2,70,000. So can we find monthly from this or not? Divided by 12. And gross monthly income is 17,55,000 divided by 12. So first we'll find these two things. Debt service ratio. First of all, monthly loan payments is equal to 2,70,000. All of you are clear with this? 2,70,000. How did we get? Show it in that liquid ratio so that whenever you revise, you are able to get it easily. 270 is the annual loan payments divided by 12. What does it come to? 22,500. 22,500 monthly loan payments and gross monthly income. Now, gross income is 17 lakh 55,000 divided by 12. 1,46,250. Therefore, debt service ratio is equal to monthly loan payments divided by gross monthly income. So monthly loan payments 22,500 upon gross monthly income 1,46,250, 0.15 or 15%. This is also a good ratio. Only 15% of your income you are using in monthly loan payments. Rest is free for you, for other expenses. Is everyone of you clear with this? So this kind of question has been asked in exams, but it is very time consuming. As you can see, 2 lectures we devoted for it. Now similar question I'll take in the next week only, because there will be a gap of 3 to 4 days if I start here today. Whole question will not be able to complete today. So instead we'll take up a smaller question. Look at page 33, but we are taking up another question. Page 33, question 5 was done. Now we are taking up with question number 6. Clear ended? In question 6 we will make only income statement. See that Saraswati and Brahma Anand provides you the following information for the period ended on 31st December 2015. So it should be for 2 years. Okay, 31st December 2014 and 31st December 2015. Okay, one column of 31/12/14 and one column of 31/12/15. So only income statement is asked. See at the bottom what is asked. You are required to prepare income statement of Anand family, then comment on their contribution to savings or investments and resulting increase or decrease in their net worth, and comment on the financial performance of the family using the money measurement ratios. But all the 4 ratios will not be able to find, because only income statement is there. So one of the ratios only will be able to do. We may be able to do with debt service ratio, and we may be able to do with savings ratio. These both will not be able to find. Is everyone clear with this? Let us do the markings. Salary of Saraswati Pankil. Incomes market as a net of taxes, means it's already after deducting the tax. So means salary of Brahma, income. Himalaya, interest on savings account. Incomes. Bhumi, interest on government bonds. Income. Hiral, rent receipt. Income. Shreya, groceries. Expense. Malhar, rent paid. Expense. Mohini, utility bills paid. Expense. Deval, dividends receipt. Income. Dividends receipt. Income. Deena, gifts given on weddings. Expense. Ayushi, purchase of mutual funds. What did you say? Neither income nor expense. What is that? Investments. Market as investments will come at the bottom. Then Suraj, purchase of government bonds. Investments. Prakriti, purchase of new LED TV. Expense. Priyank, commission on MV sales. Income. Himadri, taxes. Expense. Gaurav, movies and amusement parks. Expense. Parul, telephone bills paid. Expense. Maida, cash and auto expenditures. Make it car and auto. Car and auto expenditures. Expense. Then Anjum, tuition fees of their kids. Expense. Weber, books and magazines. Expense. Sangamitra, clothing and shoes. Expense. Priya, sale of shares. Income. Sale of shares is income. Any money received is an income. Okay? And Priya, it's sale of shares, not salaries, okay? Sale of shares, so incomes. Then Richa, medical bills and drugs. Expense. Pari, personal loan and personal loan payments. Expense. Then Prerna, auto loan payments. Expense. Then Anushka, traveling expenses. Expense. Current purchase of new car. Purchase of car is not an investment. And neither it is an expense. If you remember very first lecture when we had done, I told you, purchase of new car you never make on cash. You always pay the down payment and take it on loan. So we need to find that. We did the workings in the very first question also. Purchase of new car is 15 lakhs. There is neither an income nor an expense. We need to see how much we have paid for it. Now if you see below, what is the loan outstanding on car? Just 1 minute. Make it 9,75,000. 9,75,000. Insert 9 before 7. Now see here, understand it. Loan outstanding on car in the last year was 975. Current year is 7 lakhs. We need to find how much of down payment is made. First of all, loan outstanding 975 and current year 7 lakhs means we have paid annual amount of 2,75,000 that we would have paid last year also. So out of 15 lakhs of car, we would have paid loan payment of 2,75,000. Subtract that. 12,25,000. But loan outstanding is showing only 9,75,000 in the last year. Means how much of down payment would have been already done? Subtract 9,75,000 again. 2,50,000 of down payment would have been done. That will come in expense. I repeat it once again. What is the value of car we purchased in 2014? 15 lakhs. Now 2014 the loan was 9,75,000. 2015 it is 7 lakhs. Means what is the loan payment we are making annually? 2,75,000. That we will pay in 2014 also and that will pay in 2015 also. Out of 15 lakhs of car, we already paid annual loan payment of 2,75,000 in the last year. So how much loan should be outstanding in the last year? 12,25,000. But the loan outstanding is only 9,75,000. Means how much of down payment we would have done already in the last year? 2,50,000. Did everyone understand this? That workings will make in the beginning. Raise your hand who did not understand this. What is the loan outstanding last year? Current year? 7 lakhs. So how much of loan you are paying annually? 275. That you will pay in 2014 also because you purchased a car in 2014 and 2015 also. Now in 2014 you purchased a car of 15 lakhs. Minus you paid the loan of 2,75,000. So how much loan should be outstanding? 12,25,000. But loan outstanding is showing only 9,75,000. Means we would have made down payment of 2,50,000. Did you understand this portion, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Anyone still having any doubt in this? So in both the years, what is the loan payments we will take in expense? In both the years, what is the loan payment we will take in expense? 2,75,000. Plus in 2014, what is the down payment also will take in expense? 2,50,000. Did you understand this? Purchase of gold ETF. Here. Investments. Holiday expenses at Paris. Shallow. Expense. Dinner at restaurants. Mohini. Expense. Insurance premiums. Alert. Expense. Cable TV charges shall be expense. And repairs and maintenance expenses, Rajeshwari, expense. Is everyone of you clear with this? So we'll make that workings of down payment and then we'll make the income statement in columnar. First, purchase of car. Yes, silence. In 2014 is of 15 lakhs minus loan payments, which we understand 975 lakhs minus 7 lakh 50,000, 7 lakhs means every year we are paying loan of 2 lakh 75,000. So as such the loan should be 12 lakh 25,000. But loan outstanding in 2014 is showing an amount of only 9 lakh 75,000, means remaining 2 lakh 50,000 we would have done as down payment in 2014. So this will also come in expenses. Did everyone understand this?
Yes.
So now we'll make it in columnar form income statement for both the years. Anand family. Income statement for the year ending 31/12/14 and 31/12/15. 2 years we have to do it in columnar form. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Did I bring incomes? Now, Gaurav. Yes, silence everyone now. Salary of Saraswati amount 2,50,000 and 3 lakhs. Salary of Brahma 10 lakhs and 12 lakhs. Interest on savings account 1,500 and 1,000. Interest on government bonds only in 2015 we have 80,000. Richard. Rent received 4,50,000 and 5 lakhs. Dividends received. Okay, in the order the next income is dividends received. After that we'll take commission on Amway sales 75,000 and 1,50,000. After that current sale of shares 25,000 and 1 lakh. Any other incomes? No other incomes, right? What did I tell you earlier? Also leave 1 or 2 lines in case if anything else comes, right? And in exams, if you want to write the figures, write it with pencil. In this question, write it with pencil only. Leave 2 lines and then write with pencils total A. Yes, what is the amount? 18 lakh? 16,500. 23 lakh 41,000. This blue ink is pencil, okay? Then expenses. Now I'm directly writing all the expenses, many are there. So first is directly groceries. All of you speed up in writing instead of talking in between. Groceries 50,000 and 75,000. Rent paid 1,10,000 and 1,20,000. Utility bills paid 70,000 and 80,000. Gifts given on weddings. $23,000 and 1 lakh. Purchase of mutual funds. No, that will not come right now. Purchase of new LED TV. Yes, Captain, what happened? 1 lakh. Taxes. 25,000 and 45,000. Movies and amusement parks. Make it 15,000. 10,000 and 15,000. Telephone bills. 7,500 and 15,000. Car and auto expenditure. $45,000 and 50,000. Tuition fees of kids. $2,50,000 and $3,50,000. Books and magazines. $2,500 and $12,500. Clothing and shoes. $20,000 and $50,000. Medical bills and drugs. $25,000. Personal loan payments. $1,25,000, $1,25,000. Auto loan payments. $2,75,000, $2,75,000. Traveling expenses. $25,000, $20,000. Purchase of new car will we take? We will take down payment. Down payment of new car. In bracket working note 1. Only in 2014 we will take 2,50,000. Will we take loan installment of 2,75,000? Loan payments of 2,75,000 will be taken both the years? No, because it's already given. Auto loan payments, you can see already given. Yes, if this auto loan payments 275 was not given, then we also obtained that last year outstanding 975, current year outstanding 7 lakhs means we are paying 275 every year. But it is already given in the question. Loan payments made every year are 2,75,000. Did everyone understand this? So that's already included. Purchase of gold ETF will come in investments. Holiday expenses. 2,50,000. Dinner at restaurants, 20,000 and 15,000. Insurance premium, 50,000 and 85,000. Cable TV charges, 25,000 and 27,500. And repairs and maintenance expenses, 10,000 and 12,000. Okay. As I said, here also leave one or two lines and with pencil to the total. Yes, what does it come to? 14 lakh? 18,000 and? Yes? Yes? Rent receipt is included in incomes. Okay. Any other confusion? Yes, how much is it coming to? 14 lakh, 18,000 and? 18 lakh? 47,000. Now, cash surplus before investments. Write this all with pencil, okay? What is 18,16,500 minus 14 lakh 18,000? 3 lakhs 91,500. 3,98,500. And 2341 minus 1847 means 4,94,000. Write that with pencil, okay? Now we'll take investments. Investments, we have purchase of mutual funds, you will find 25,000 and 1 lakh. Then purchase of government bonds, 5 lakhs and 3 lakhs. And purchase of gold ETF, 25,000 and 75,000. This cash surplus before investments is A minus B, which is equal to C. And this total D, investments. Write that. That you can write with pen because investments are going to remain same only. 5 lakh, 50,000 and 4 lakh, 75,000. Now if you find cash surplus, that is C minus D. Does it come negative or not? Now this is not possible. Be attentive. You cannot invest 5,50,000 when you are left out with only 3,98,500. Okay, you are left out with only 3,98,500. Then how can you invest? 5,50,000 means there is a short-term borrowing taking place in 2014, and it happens every year. in the month of March generally, you run for that. If you don't have money, still you want to invest because you need benefits of deductions of Section 80C. If you don't invest that money, you'll land up paying more tax. So even borrow the money and make those payments. And next year's income you repay the same money. So how much is the deficit? 1,51,500. That will be shown as short-term borrowings in incomes, and your balance will become zero. For that we'll make the workings. So that's why I said write these all amounts with pencil so they come to know. If suppose you have sufficient money, then overwrite it with pen and finish it. But if you have deficit, then we have to do short-term borrowings. Did everyone understand it? So for 2014, working note to total incomes are 18,16,500 and total expenses including investments. Total expenses including investments. Total expenses are 14,18,000 and investments are 5,50,000. So 19,68,000 are total expenses including investments. What is the deficit or surplus? Here deficit of minus 1,51,500. This will result in short-term borrowings. Same way for 2015. If we have surplus, we'll repay the loan, and again if there is a deficit, there will be short-term borrowings. For 2015, what is the total incomes? 23,41,000. And what are the total expenses including investments? 18 plus 4, 22, 17, 23 lakh, 10, 22,000. 23 lakh, 22,000 means how much of surplus is there? So that 19,000 we will repay the short-term borrowings. And in both the years, the final cash surplus will become zero. Did you understand this or not, everyone? So always in exams, first do this with pencil, and finally if the amount comes negative, then you'll borrow. And it is for 2 years then only. If it is for single year, then next year surplus will remain surplus only. There is no need to repay. But here because you'll ask for 2 years, then 1 year's deficit is repaid in the next year. Okay. So far in exams they have not done and asked this kind of a question, but it's done in college, so we are practicing. Okay. So here we'll take short-term borrowings in bracket working note 1 1,51,500. And here we will take repayment of short-term borrowings in bracket working note 2, not working note 1, both the places, working note 2, 19,000. Okay, so now with pen you can put the actual figures. 18,16,500 plus 151,500. Now it will become 19,68,000. Surplus will become 1968 minus 1418, 5,50,000. And final cash surplus will become nil. Same way in 2015, this expense is 1847 plus 19. It will become 18,66,000. 2341 minus 1866 will be 4,75,000, and after investments of 475 here also it will become nil. Both the years final surplus will be nil because one year there is borrowings and the other year there is repayment. Is everyone clear with this? Ratio you are taking only one ratio will be possible. Understand it why? First ratio is solvency, you cannot find, that is from balance sheet, you can require net worth and assets. Second is liquid, you cannot find, you require liquid assets and current liabilities. Third is savings ratio, also you cannot find because savings are zero. Cash surplus in both the years will become zero, so ratio will become zero. Only fourth ratio you will be able to find. What is that? Monthly debt service ratio, monthly loan payment upon gross monthly. The monthly loan payments you will take these two divided by 12, and gross monthly income these two divided by 12. Did everyone of you understand this? So that you will be doing it homework. Any confusions in that? So tomorrow again 10:30, but 10:15 only consider it. 10:30 I'll start. You may start coming after 10:15 and show your homework, etc. Okay. Bye everyone.